Good morning, guys, and welcome to Farmer on the Prairie. It's been a little bit, but you know what? I'm back, and that's what counts. Dogs are out here this morning. Duchess, no, down. And I am here working on the farm today, well, most of the day. I gotta go do a little bit of something on one of my construction jobs, but we're about a week out from harvest. The combine's still in pieces and neither of the heads have been modified yet. So we got some work to do. Not very much time to do it, so I gotta get on that. So we've always had a no dogs in the house rule here, but Duchess has kind of gotten a hold of Mom's heart enough that, well, this little black puppy makes it into the house rather often and doesn't get kicked out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I gotta go out and do something at the chicken pens real quick, and then we'll get started. So Mom, Dad, and sister are butchering chickens today. We just emptied those two pens out last night, so I'm gonna line them all up and tie them down because there are threats of strong weather later today, so we just need to get those all taken care of so they don't blow away. Well, all the chicken pens are lined up and strapped down, ready for weather. So now I'm gonna go change my boots and get started in the shop. So when I'm working in construction, I always wear lace-up work boots, but I love days I work on the farm because I get to pull out my 7-year-old pair of double H boots that fit like a glove, and it just feels right. To kind of catch you guys up to speed on what's been happening here in the shop, I didn't start working on the combine until a couple weeks ago. I really only worked on it a few hours. Ripped the spreader apart because the bearings were bad, as you can hear here. Yeah, it doesn't sound the best. That shaft is rusted into the bearings though, so we're gonna have to cut it with a torch, drop it out, and then the new shaft should be here soon. Been changing the oil and some things. Also need to change out the water pump, which means gotta change coolant. And I was looking at this reverser motor, and down in here it's gonna be kind of hard to see, but I saw this little seal. Huh, what could that be from? Well, if you look up underneath there, right there, that bearing is completely shot. Like, there's no oil left in the reverser, so I hope we don't need a whole new reverser. There's this hydraulic motor, this thing right here. This is a glorified clutch so that when the feeder turns off, this can engage and it can spin it backwards. We're really excited to have a hydraulic reverser though, because we used to have on the 1660, if any of you remember the old starter motors that they put on, that you go kick in and try and spin it backwards. The main word there is try. It did not work very well. We need to start working on getting this taken off. I think I'm gonna try and take this hydraulic motor off, and then we'll attempt to dismount this off of the feeder house and the shaft. Should be a little bit of fun. Okay, that sort of works. Woo-wee! That was easy. Okay, you guys can kind of see now that I got this pulled off what the problem is. This race broke. Well, the seal popped out, and then the race broke, and now the balls are not spaced equally. That's not gonna run very long, and it hardly had any oil in it. Luke's gonna come take this apart later. I'm going to start working on other parts of the combine. These little doohickeys up here that look like mower blades all have bearings on them, and all those bearings are shot. We already replaced the bearings on this screen up here, so they spin nice again. I've got to climb up in there and pull those down. Oof. That's not the best. Need to leave those bolts in. We've got a problem. Old bearing, new bearing. Not gonna work. So we'll have to figure that one out. Okay, after getting a race stuck on the bearing and a whole bunch of other stuff happened, I am now changing out the coolant on here. Don't worry, it's not black. It is green. That's just the oil floating on top. And it holds 10 gallons, so we'll need about 3 buckets. I had to tie a hose on and run it down. And switch. And another bucket switch. Should be done on this next bucket here. Oh, hi guys. Didn't see you there. I'm just having a little bit of fun with the water pump. Maybe. Not. Okay, y'all, I got the water pump changed out, and now we're gonna start filling it back up. Oop. Goodness, making a mess. Splish splash, I was taking a bath. No. Rub dub, relaxing in the tub. Dad is also working up some hay ground that is going into organic next year. Here he goes. Dad's committing the cardinal sin. He's working dirt. So basically what's going on is we're trying to figure out which do we hate more? Do we hate spraying chemicals or do we hate tillage? And we're trying to figure out the happy medium because organic, you're not using chemicals, but you do have to do some selective tillage. Some guys go overboard with tillage on organic, but we're trying to figure out what is the best method of weed control for, you know, not going crazy overboard with tillage. So we're doing some experimentation. Got about 40 or 50 acres that'll be organic next year, and we're just trying it. But anyways, let's get back into the shop and get to working on the combine, because we need to harvest our other crops. And it's still broken. Or not broken, but torn apart. So let's get to it. When I was changing the water pump on the combine yesterday, I took the belt off, because you gotta take the belt off. I was spinning everything to make sure that nothing else was going bad. And I spun this, and it sounds very rough. Not terrible, but it'll be a problem very shortly. So I went to Berkey's and ordered a bunch of parts in that part, and it will be here tomorrow at some point. So I'm gonna work on putting the spreader back together. So the other night, or last night I should say, Luke and I took the reverser apart and got everything apart that we needed to. It's a pretty simple design. It's just got a clutch that engages this. And I mean, really, it's pretty straightforward. That engages and reverses the feeder house. Start putting this spreader back together, and hopefully it goes smoothly, and you guys will see. Okay guys, so I made a little bit of progress on the combine here. You can see the spreader's all back together. Got the new gears and bearings in there. I had to flop these pulleys because this is a low-speed pulley, this is a high-speed pulley, but the belt's got to stay straight, so I flopped those around and then ran and went and got the parts. So now I'm going to start putting back together the reverser case. I've got this all cleaned up. The mating surface is nice and clean. And now I'm going to put the bearing on the gear, put that in here, and then start putting the case back together. Okay guys, so I've been having fun in the engine bay of the combine again. A little hard to film in here, so I just figured I'd take it apart and then show you what was going on. So I had to replace the water pump, which you guys have seen, and then I saw that the main support bearing for the fan, which strangely enough went out on our combine last year and almost caused a fire and a bunch of other damage, that went out on our old combine. Well, on the new combine, when I had the water pump bearing off, I could see that when I was spinning around, I heard a little bit of gravelly sound, and sure enough, that bearing was getting weak or worn out, so I'm replacing it. Sometimes you feel like you just can't win. I pulled the old bearing out, which is right here, and you can hear kind of the rough sound in it. Pulled the new bearing out of the package. Watch very closely. Everywhere where I'm stopping, it feels like it has a notch. That's not gonna last very long at all, especially at high RPM like the fan motor. So, I guess it's another call to Berkey's in the morning when they open again. Fun times, fun times. What's going on, guys? Made it back again. I had to run to Berkey's this morning, you know, half an hour there, half an hour back to get this little gasket. Anyways, it's kind of frustrating sometimes, but we're gonna throw this gasket on here, put the hydraulic motor back on the reverser, and then we are good to go. There. Okay. It's all done. So they said the separator drive idler needed a new bearing. In case you wonder what the old one looks like, there you go. That ain't good. That would have caused some issues. Didn't even need any vibration. Look, you're a little raw. Woo! Holy smokes. That bolt got hot. Well, good morning, guys. So I've been working on the combine basically all weekend now. I haven't recorded that much because it's just been changing this oil, changing that bearing, pulling this out, replacing that. I should be done working on, or I should have the combine out of the shop by noon today. That's the plan anyways. We'll see if that happens. Shields won't be on. It won't be set to crop settings, but it should have all the oil changed, all the bearings fixed that I know of. And then we're going to pull it outside, fire the machine up, and then open up the rotor belt clutches so I can change the belt. Okay, so down in here, we've got the rotor fill tube, and to empty out the rotor gearbox, we pull it off the dipstick tube right there, and then put it in that with a copper tube that drapes over the side of the combine. So the rotor's done draining. I'm going to pull that hose off and stick it back on the dipstick tube. Here it goes. Oh, just got gear all over my hand. All right. Strike. All right. Pull her back up on and tighten her down. Okay. Whew. Okay, that's done. I've drained the rotor gearbox right here. Now I need to put this plug tight, and then it's gonna fill from the other side. I've got the rotor gear case all filled up and buttoned back together. Bottom unloader, I finished filling the front gear case. So, looks all good in there. I'll double check to make sure I have all my tools out. Oh, light's blinking. Still need to change the rotor belts, but I've got to get it out, fire it up, and wind the clutch the whole way up, lock that clutch open, and then wind that one back down. All right. Okay, I've got the final drives filled up. All the oils are done at this point. Now I just need to take this chain off, take that chain off, take another chain over there off. I got a lot of chains to change. Okay, for those of you who know anything about chains, you aren't supposed to be able to bend them that much. I'd say she's fully cooked. Yeah, okay, got my foot, 2 foot from the end, pulling sideways. I can come up 1.5 feet, just like that. Not good. Not good. Okay guys, we finally have most of the service work done on the combine. I'm gonna fire it up here in a few minutes and get the rotor speed adjusted correctly to change the belt. And then we've just got more like adjustments and things to do to it, and hopefully we'll be done with it yet today. So I need to jump up and put that shield on. Okay, I'm ready to start the combine. See how long this takes, because I've changed the fuel filters, done a whole bunch of stuff. Also need to bleed out the hydraulic systems. So here we go. What was that rattling?
I don't know. I didn't hear anything.
Was that just the flapper?
Probably just.
Well guys, it's been kind of a long drawn out video over several days, and sorry I didn't get everything on film. There was a whole lot that went wrong, a whole lot that we fixed and thought we didn't have to, and parts I ran all over the country for. But the good news is, for this very moment, I think everything that needs done to that combine has been done. Concaves have been changed out, rotor vane position has been changed, bearing support for the cooling fan, whole bunch of bearings in the cleaning or the fan assembly up top. We've got the spreader rebuilt. All the things on the spreader needed redone. There was a problem with the reverser. We got that taken care of. Readjusted the feeder house. Just on and on and on it goes. All the chains have been replaced, a whole lot of the belts. There's been a lot that has been done to this combine, but the good news is it should be done. It should be done for now. We'll see what goes wrong once we start running it, because it's a new machine to our farm. And it's also a combine that is 13 years old, so there's going to be issues. That is going to be all for today's video. I'm actually just starting out today. I worked this morning in construction, one of my jobs, getting ready for insulation. Now, I'm gonna jump in this old girl, go to John's, but you guys are gonna see that in the next video. So, with that being said, guys, thanks for watching through this hectic video of repairing the combine. I guess I will see y'all in the next one.